Hey everyone, welcome to a brand new episode of E3 Aftermath, where we tackle some of the big topics that came out of E3 2011. I'm joined by Kevin Van Ord.
Hey, hello.
Hi.
Hi.
And Sean McInnes.
Hey, Giancarlo.
Hi. So, gentlemen, today we're going to talk about Battlefield and Modern Warfare. I mean, these two really heavy hitters of the video game industry are seemingly going head-to-head this year. And I just kind of want to start this off by talking about just, you know, people kind of assume that these games are kind of similar, I think. I think they just sort of see the theme. They think, okay, these are kind of similar games. But we know that Battlefield and Modern Warfare are actually kind of different. Can you guys, any of you, really go into sort of more detail about what these games are all about?
I think when you're talking about Battlefield, you have to look at its DNA as like a huge, massively multiplayer online action game that originated with these huge different levels with lots of vehicles and whatnot in them. And that's something that we're seeing in Battlefield 3. In fact, the E3 demo was focused on this big open desert area with all these tanks and everything. So, and that's different from Modern Warfare, which is traditionally like an on-foot combat first-person shooter series. So that's one of the big key differentiators. And just the fact that this is a PC lead platform game, and you can see that with how amazing this game looks. Kevin?
I mean, you're absolutely right. And when I think of Modern Warfare 3, I think, any Modern Warfare game, I think of something that's probably going to be, in terms of the online experience, something that's very pick up and play. Something that a lot of people are going to be able to, hey, I'm going to pick this game up, I'm going to get immediately into it, it's going to be constantly rewarding me, no matter what it is that I'm really doing. And Battlefield is traditionally something that happens across a different kind of pace. I mean, this is a game in which you have to think about squads, you have to think about teams, you have to think about how you're going to transport people to the thick of the battle, how you're going to get people into the firefights, and you're going to do that not just on the ground in a tank, but you're also going to get into helicopters, you're going to get into jets, you're going to do whatever. And that's very exciting.
As we know, the multiplayer element of these games is absolutely huge, and obviously EA knows that, and Activision has known that already. But what does EA need to do to kind of compete or even maybe surpass the juggernaut that is Modern Warfare multiplayer with Battlefield 3? I mean, what needs to happen?
Well, the Modern Warfare series has sort of, it's taken that XP-driven carrot on a stick multiplayer sort of formula, and it's just like refined it like to such a brilliant level. And the Battlefield series, I mean, it obviously started out as a big multiplayer game, but it hasn't really been on par with the Call of Duty series in terms of, giving players just those constant rewards that are just compelling them to keep, play the game, continue playing it, and just like, keep them addicted, basically, in one way of putting it. So I think that that's sort of going to be the big indicator of where, Battlefield catches up to the Modern Warfare series.
And Kevin, a question I want to ask you is, Modern Warfare, typically those games are pretty scripted. What do you think sort of makes that? I mean, is that something that lends itself well to this kind of experience, or do you think that something like Battlefield can learn something from the way that Modern Warfare scripts its events?
Well, I think it depends on whether you're looking at the multiplayer experience or the single-player experience. And assuming that you're talking about the single-player experience, I mean, Battlefield, the traditional Battlefield games, as opposed to Bad Company and Bad Company 2, have their single-player experience has been essentially, if I'm looking at the PC games alone, they've been essentially just the multiplayer experience with bots, essentially. Right. And this is where, I mean, we already know that Battlefield 3 is going to be, kind of picking up some of that slack by, giving us a more scripted single-player experience, which I'm absolutely fine with, and I think in a way that's kind of what they needed to do to be able to compete, for our attention, at least compete for the attention of people that are really into Modern Warfare. What does this game have for me? I know the multiplayer is going to be different, but they're still giving us, kind of a scripted single-player experience that I think, may end up being really interesting, based on how they're, they've kind of taken the cue from Modern Warfare game.
Well, certainly, if you're a fan of first-person shooters, there's going to be no shortage of options coming up for you. As always, if you want to check out more on Battlefield 3 or Modern Warfare 3, you can check out GameSpot.com.